video, we are going to look at a variety of text manipulation functionality in Excel. This can be really useful when creating labels, meaningful labels. Sometimes it's useful for putting results into things, but right now we're going to look at labels. So the first functionality I'm going to look at is the ampersand. And the ampersand can be used to do what's called concatenate or glue together strings. So I am going to glue together a series of strings. So A1 is Professor Brown. I'm going to add a space. Should give me another space, the B, and then we'll add a couple exclamation points for good measure. So we are taking this, whatever text is in A1, gluing it to a space, gluing it to what's in A2, gluing it to a space, gluing it to what's in A3, and adding the exclamation points. And now if I say Professor Brown should give me an F, that's a D, how about? The string updates. The cell updates with a new string. I can do the same thing with the concat function. The first text, the space, the second text, the space, the third text, the exclamation points, and it gives me the same thing. The next couple of functions allow me to take the leftmost characters or the rightmost characters from a string. So for example, professor is 9 characters long, so we'll do left of my long string, 9 characters, and we get professor. If I do right of my long string and let's see, 4 characters, we get the D and the 3 exclamation points. If I want to find some text, let's say Brown, inside of a string, it tells me that Brown starts on the 11th character. The next way to pull something out of a string would be mid. It takes some characters out of the middle of a string, takes the start number, so we'll take where Brown is, and we know Brown is 5 characters. Now we've pulled out the Brown out of our string. If we want to know how long a string is, we use the function len. So that string at the top is 37 characters long. The last piece of functionality, which is nice, is text. Now, I'm not going to fully describe text. I'm going to use an example. And basically what text lets you do is take a value, a number in your spreadsheet, and convert it to a string with a particular format. The formats you'll have to look for to find out what all the functionalities on formats. So you can find that through Google. You can also find that, and I'll show you in a minute, by looking at the custom formats in Excel. So I am going to turn this into a 2 decimal place percentage. So text of A4, and then in quotes I put 0.00% means 2 decimal places percentage. So there's 78%. So for example, if I now take Professor Brown, well, let's use concat. Concat Professor Brown, the quote, the space, should give me, quote, space, should give me a text of the 78%, comma, 0.00%, ampersand on the next test. That will give me, Professor Brown should give me a 78% on the next test. And if I change this to 98, then, ooh, that was the wrong number, 0.98, I get 98%. I forgot my period, didn't I? So let's put the period in. There we go. Now, if this were, for example, the title in the chart, you might look at it and say, you know what, I don't want the break. It's going to, it's going to go into 2 lines. I don't want that break wherever Excel tells me. I want it somewhere else. So for example, I might want it before the 98%. There is a special, I'm going to remove this space. There's a special character. So we use CHAR for character, and on a Windows machine, it's CHR of 10. And that puts the break, the line break, after the A and before the 98%. Now this is a slightly challenging problem because on your Mac, it's not CHR of 10, it's CHR of 13, which of course doesn't work on my Windows machine. So I have to use a little trick here if I'm going to have something which works on both a Mac and a Windows machine, and that would be if info of system, the operating system, equals Mac, then we'll use char 13. Otherwise, we'll use char 10. And now this will work, this formula will work on both a Mac and a Windows machine.